Hello, everybody. You know, in this world, especially in the last 3 years, that there's been too much of the selfish behaviors of some people. And this here case, I've been following a lot of these. They just come on my feed for just unknown reason. And I believe they're meant to be. That I'm supposed to do something and at least recognize this young man. I have a niece, my eldest brother's granddaughter, special needs, and she's so, full of love, full of life. I mean, she's about the same age as this boy this thing happened to, and this has happened to in the upper peninsula of Michigan, way up there, far away from me. But I mean, this woman didn't even have custody of this kid. His dad just handed him over to her, and she lost custody a long time ago. Her ex-husband should be arrested too. But as what she did to this poor kid, it's heartbreaking. And I don't want to hear this thing bipolar and all this other junk. I know too many good people. Get what I'm saying? I also know too many good people that have special needs like this boy did. He was autistic. And she finally got her sentence today. And what I'm trying to say is that we forget, while people out there are yelling and screaming, about everything, that's going on, we forget these things that are happening within our communities. It shouldn't even be happening. This woman here had a good education. She was top, and she's a lawyer. She was top. Very smart. I don't want to hear your excuses. But anyway, I'm going to get to, we've got to forget our selfishness and remember there are people out there that are suffering. What this woman did to this boy, if you want to look her up and just listen to what she's done to this poor kid, I can't imagine. But anyway, without further ado, let's hear it.
Shanda Vander Ark, first-degree murder and first-degree child abuse for the horrible death of her 15-year-old special needs son, Timothy Ferguson. Police found the teen dead, severely malnourished inside the family's home.
That was a really horrific one. Vander Ark's sentencing is at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, and to catch you up to speed on the case before we get to the sentencing, here's Court TV lead anchor Vinny Paulton.
Ms. Vander Ark, is it true Timothy had just become nothing more than an ranch to you? He wasn't even a human being in your eyes anymore.
That is absolutely not true.
Last month, Shanda Vander Ark sat in a Muskegon County courtroom accused of child abuse and murder in the death of her 15-year-old special needs son, Timothy.
The night before he passed, I had less than an hour sleep.
Was outcome expected by you?
Absolutely not. No.
First responders found Timothy Ferguson DOA when they arrived at the house.
He was in the basement, on the floor. It was just skin and bone. He didn't have any muscles.
The Michigan mom and law school graduate claimed she didn't know how dire Timothy's condition was in the weeks before his death.
You look like that? Put him in the bathtub?
Timothy weighed only 69 pounds when he died, and investigators found evidence of abuse and torture in the house. Locks on the refrigerator and freezer, shackles in the basement, a tarp in the closet where he slept on the floor, and a bottle of hot sauce that was put on bread, the only food Timothy is allowed to eat. His mother took the stand and attempted to blame it all on her older son, Paul.
Whose idea was it to get hot sauce and to administer it to your son?
The idea was originally Paul's.
Lead irons discovered in your home. Were you aware of those?
I was aware that Paul had them.
Paul Ferguson cut a deal with prosecutors and testified against his mother. He expressed regret and remorse at how his younger brother lived and died.
Do you love Timothy?
I suppose I didn't love him enough.
After Shanda Vander Ark testified, she never returned to the courtroom. It took jurors about an hour to convict her of both charges related to her son Timothy's death.
And the big question will be, will she show up for her sentencing because she refused to be there for the verdict and for the final moments of her trial? She was found guilty. Let's bring in private investigator Jason Jensen, who is standing by. Jason, this was one of those cases that just shocks the conscience. The way that she dealt with her 15-year-old son while she was clerking and passing the bar and going to law school. Your take on this case, child abuse cases in particular, can just be so hard for a jury and even a judge to have to preside over.
And Julia, just looking at the house and all the evidence they had, it's clear evidence that they were either torturing the poor boy, depriving him of food. I mean, locking the fridge is probably the most carnal sin there. The only duty that a mother really has for a disabled child is a duty to care, and to provide nutrition is the most basic form of care. So if she no longer desired to provide for her son, there's the foster care system. She could have certainly handed him over to a family member to take over, but clearly it looks like he was being tortured, and there's no excuse for it.
You've been an investigator for many years, and it always astounds me how humans can be so cruel to the ones we love, the ones closest to us, and I'm sure you've got first-hand experience of just grisly actions from one to another. In this case, I would put up there, as far as the ones we've covered on Court TV, as just horrifying the way a mother treated her son.
No, exactly. It's just terrible what they put this poor son through. And looking at Paul, I mean, it's clear that the family has a high metabolism anyway, because he looks slender naturally. So if you have a high metabolism, you require a lot of food, a lot of intake. So clearly they knew that his body type required to eat frequently, and to deny him of that is just abhorrent.
Absolutely. The sentencing should bring out some different details than we heard during the trial. We'll likely hear about what she has been through. Her defense will be able to put that on. I don't know if she will come into the courtroom. It seems that she's very much in denial that she was anything more than just busy. Let's take a listen back to one of those moments from trial when she was first presented on the stand with the photos of what her son looked like.
You testified that you gave Timothy a warm bath the night before he passed away, that last night, July 5th. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
That was the first time you've told anybody connected to this case that you've done that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You never told the police officer you did that, did you?
No, sir.
I imagine a warm bath sounds just like, it's just what it sounds like, right? You got him, you took him to the bath, you grew a warm bath for him, and you put him in the bathtub, right?
Yes, sir.
This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub?
Faker. She's trying to look like Dorothy there in The Wizard of Oz, too.
blame him.
Certainly couldn't stomach what she did to her son, what she was living with, but being faced with
Or
it.
that was a little acting job.
Well, that's
With her Julie Garland hair, trying to pull off an Oscar performance in front of the jury.
That's my question. Whether or not she is faking for the jury, faking for the court. On the day of closing arguments, she claimed to have a panic attack and waived her right to be there. Should she have to sit through her sentencing, in your opinion?
Well, yes, I do. I mean, that's really, as a defendant, that's her
That woman there disgusts me. It's talking.
reason for being there. We're sentencing her from the standpoint of the state for her wrong, and she should listen to all the wrongs that she was. And when they pronounce sentence, she deserves to listen. It's far better than what she put her son through.
Her other son has been the target, basically was the target of her defense, saying that, oh, he was doing, I didn't buy those shekels. I didn't know any of this was going on.
Meanwhile, she was texting him
Yeah.
what to do.
Right. He's saying, what do I do, Mom? He's trying to get food again. He was charged, but he was a victim too, was he not?
Yes, it sounds like he's being the patsy here for his mother's will, and unfortunately, she's responsible for the household. She's the head of the house. So if she's dictating instructions to Paul, and Paul's compliant, he's complicit. But certainly, she's more responsible for the death than Paul is, because Paul is still in development. He's still a teenager.
Well, that's part one, and I'm going to get to the part that I saw today for sentencing. But this whole thing is just it's heartbreaking. I mean, if you sit there and watch it, you think she's Dorothy, like a guy said. I'm surprised somebody else seen it. But I'd say God bless, and see you on the other side, part two. We love it. Because he's going to be sentenced. So God bless to everybody. Rest in peace, Timothy. At least now you're loved. God bless. Thank you for watching.